There are tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, but in this video, I want to share with you what is unique and different about XRP. In my eyes, this is so important to understand as an XRP investor because there is tons of great technologies out there. There's tons of great businesses out there. But I really do believe the philosophy and the ethos behind Ripple and XRP set them apart from everything else out there. In this video, I want to share with you a video of Chris Larsen talking about what makes Ripple and XRP special, and this video was from 2014. I really do think this is really going to help you guys understand why the top-down approach of working with governments, working for governments, working with the big institutions has always been the right idea since day one, and even today is a unique, distinct advantage to everything else in the market. Now, before I play this video for you, I need to say Crypto Eddie is the one who found this video. Make sure you follow her. She does amazing research. I cut the entire video up. I tried to highlight the parts that I thought were most important. I tried to highlight the things that you guys absolutely need to see. So it's a shortened version of it. I tried to pick out the key pieces. But the last thing I want to say before I let this thing go is, guys, this is one of those videos you absolutely need to watch to the end. Understanding the core thesis of what Ripple and XRP are critical to you understanding what you hold. Chris Larsen is one of the OG creators of the XRP ledger, and he doesn't get enough attention. So this video is going to allow you to understand what Chris Larsen was thinking when the XRP ledger itself was created and when Ripple was just getting started. What I think you guys are going to understand in this video is that all the things we have been talking about on this channel today really are a reflection of what the overall goal of Ripple, the company, was using the digital asset XRP. Guys, listen up to this. And like I said, this video is an absolute gem. Huge shout out to Eddie for finding it, but I really hope me cutting it up, making it shorter, and picking out the top moments really gives you guys a much better understanding of just how impactful this is and really just gets more views on such an important interview. Guys, listen up to this, and I hope you enjoy.
So really quickly, what is this movement all about? We call this the math-based currency movement, distinct from what you would call the virtual currency movement, simply because virtual currencies might include things like Zynga dollars and Amazon coins, and frankly, those can be debased just like political currencies. So the idea behind Bitcoin, this whole entire movement, was how do you create a currency that's not based on a central authority that can destroy the stored value of a currency? The problem you're trying to solve is the erosion of trust in political currencies. The solution is, can you build a new currency that has nobody at its center? So it's simply based on a math relationship of, let's say, servers in a distributed protocol. So the analogy would be kind of what gold is. When you think about why was gold a currency, it's because there's nobody behind that either. It was simply a math relationship of protons in a gold atom. And that's the idea here. So a single amount, none more can ever be created, fundamentally deflationary currencies. That's where this all began. So I think probably safe to say the two major iterations of this math-based currency movement are, first of all, Bitcoin. It's the one that started all this. An incredible technology. It's really been the inspiration for everybody. Started in 2009, sort of as we were coming into the height of the financial crisis. The idea behind it is there are a single amount, 21 million, that will ever be created. They currently trade at about $100 per Bitcoin, so basically 1/100th of a Bitcoin per the dollar, about a $2 billion market cap. It is a payment system as well, but it's a payment system only for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin does rely on central exchanges to make the foreign currency translation to other political currencies. It's also the way you get sort of cash in, cash out of the system. Ripple was launched this year. We've been building it for about 2 years. There's 100 billion ripples that will ever be created. Again, none more can be created. Trades currently at about 60 XRP, is the other name for Ripple, to the dollar, so about $1.5 billion market cap roughly of the ecosystem. It's a payment system as well, but it's a payment system for any currency, which I'll get in a moment, we think is kind of the bigger opportunity here. We don't need central exchanges in the Ripple system. There's actually a distributed currency system built into the protocol itself. What you do need, though, are gateways as sort of the cash-in, cash-out mechanism. So where does this all go? Kind of three outcomes here. I mean, it started as a protest movement, sort of. The original people behind Bitcoin are still anonymous. And it was really kind of, in some ways, a reaction to the financial crisis. So is this going to remain a protest movement? Is it going to be like Occupy Wall Street? Is it going to have the same outcome? We kind of know what happened there. Or is it going to be something more than that? Is it going to be ending up as e-gold? A lot of people are looking at this really as a way of storing value, as distinct from paying for things. It could certainly go there as well. That's sort of interesting. But we think by far the bigger opportunity here is this is an opportunity to flatten finance. If you really look at it, the world we live in today is a completely wired global marketplace. Everybody, no matter where you are, has access to a global marketplace if you have the internet. That's incredibly powerful. The problem is payments don't work that way. 20 years into the internet and finance has not changed. It is still the old broken, fractured, country-by-country system that it was 20 years ago. And that is a huge drag on the global economy today. So the opportunity here, what math-based currencies really are, I think, are the way finally to align payments to work the same way the global commerce market works today. That could add billions of people to the global economy. It would save hundreds of billions of dollars. That's the big opportunity here, and that's the thing we're most excited about. So basically, can you wire together all these fractured payment systems? Can somebody using M-Pesa pay somebody through ACH or through SEPA? And if you can do that, then basically, oops, went too far, you basically have HTTP for money. I think that's what this is all about, but we kind of don't know yet. This is much more about the payment system. And I think people have realized over the last 20 years, you just can't really change finance in a central kind of paradigm, a central server, a centralized company. You're just going to get bent by the powers that be. The incumbents are too powerful. The regulations are too tough. That's why you don't see a lot of innovation in fintech coming out of Silicon Valley. Surprisingly little, given how huge this market is, given the amount of friction, the amount of time that we spend on games and entertainment in this valley, and then we ignore things like fintech. I mean, it's shocking. So what the beauty here is for like the first time, a distributed system in finance, this really could be the final game changer. And if that's true, the amount of money you're talking about saving the world, the amount of money people that can come into commerce is just enormous. So I think what you're going to see is, we talk about why do people here want to use Bitcoin or Ripple. Maybe the early use cases aren't so powerful here. We have a lot of options. But people in Africa and India and China who are left out of the marketplace, that's where you're going to see, I think, the big use. And you may not even see it in like the word Bitcoin or Ripple. You're just going to see a lot of developers building on top of these rails. It might be totally invisible. You just know that it will suddenly be available. Just the way Google became, and imagine if Google had to go ask the New York Times for permission to start a search business, right? It never would have happened if they had worked through the existing rails of news. They could only do it because they had these new rails of HTTP. And that's what this is. So anybody can build on top of it. And one other thing to add is, again, as the math-based currency movement, as a payment system, you don't really have to even think about these new currencies. So the new currencies, Ripple, Bitcoin, are very interesting, but it's kind of a whole separate thing from the payment movement that this represents. So you can use these systems with dollars, euro, renminbi, whatever you want, Zynga dollars, Amazon coins. They're moving in a direction where they're flexible enough to be able to be used with your preferred currency, which should really increase adoption, right? So a merchant doesn't have to think about the currency risk of Bitcoin or Ripple. They can just simply use them as payment rails in whatever currency they want to accept. That's a really important point, that there are two things going on here, currency and payment system.
What growth would have to happen for US or China to get upset about Bitcoin and to really crack down on it?
I think this is more of a positioning problem. Like right now, China is that's where we're getting most of our traffic right now in Ripple. And that's happened in the last month. And 3 months ago, you'd have said China would have been the last place. The government would have never allowed this. But it looks like it's sort of happening there. But if you start talking about killing the dollar, killing the renminbi, destroying central banks, you are not going to have a lot of success there. So if you talk pragmatically, I think everybody gets that this is about commerce, and that's a good thing. As far as the central banks, the real is there really an issue here? There really isn't, in my view. Every country already has to compete. The dollar has to compete with the euro and the yen, and there's already tons of movement of this. So it's no longer a world where each country has its own currency. They're already competing, viciously. So it's no different. It's just a complementary currency within an existing global currency system. I mean, these things are platforms, and you could build entire banking systems on them. I mean, right now, every country could use, wallet applications for, China and India and Brazil and Colombia and Mexico. I mean, incredible opportunities there. People could build entire new sort of remittance companies. You could probably duplicate what Zoom is doing today. It would be way more competitive. So huge opportunity, and it's available now. I mean, you don't need to ask anybody's permission. You can go into the Bitcoin protocol, the Ripple protocol, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, I'd say, again, it's an overall movement, the math-based currency movement, not necessarily a Bitcoin movement or a Ripple movement. So it's kind of which iteration of the movement, whether it be Bitcoin, Ripple, or something new that we haven't seen yet, is going to have the best combination of three things: trust, utility, and liquidity. Trust is sort of in the fundamental technology. It's more trustworthy than existing systems. Utility it's all about, can I pay in multiple currency? Is it fast? Is it inexpensive? What are the cash in, cash out methods? What are the exchange like? Who's accepting it? Liquidity is going to be market makers. Who's making a market in the currency pairs? So it's whatever iteration gets the best combination of that sort of first.